There was a particular shade of orange that didn't belong to anything else in America. Not a stop sign, not a pumpkin, not a single can of paint sitting on a hardware store shelf. It belonged to one roof and one roof only. And somewhere on a long, flat stretch of highway, miles before you could read a single letter on the sign, that color would rise up over the tree line, low and steady and unmistakable. And something in your chest would just settle. Behind it, smaller, turning slightly in the wind, sat a turquoise pyramid topped with a tiny weather vane, a round little man in a chef's hat, forever chasing a pie he'd never quite catch. He didn't know his name yet. He just knew exactly what he meant. He meant, we're stopping here. The parking lot was gravel, or sometimes fresh blacktop, and it was always too hot to walk across barefoot by noon. The screen door had a particular weight to it, a spring-loaded resistance you had to lean into, and when it swung shut behind you, two smells arrived at exactly the same moment: hot coffee and something fried, golden and a little briny, drifting up from the kitchen. The dining room itself was knotty pine, almost church quiet in the late morning, with a long marble-topped counter running down one side and rows of booths along the windows, upholstered in a turquoise vinyl that matched the roof outside almost exactly. Along the far wall sat the case, long, cold, glass-fronted, and inside it, in neat metal tubs, sat more flavors of ice cream than any single child could reasonably be expected to choose between. 28 of them, by the company's own rule, no matter which state you happen to be standing in. Burgundy cherry, frozen pudding, pistachio in a shade of green that didn't occur anywhere else in nature. You could stand at that case for a genuinely embarrassing length of time. We had our own order to things, even if nobody ever said it out loud. Whoever was driving got there first, usually heading straight for a booth instead of the counter, peeling off a jacket, exhaling like the whole car ride had just been put down somewhere behind us. Someone always reached for the menu before anyone had even sat down properly. Not to read it, just to hold it, the way you hold something while you're deciding what you actually want. Every family had its own unwritten rule about whether dessert came as a cone or a dish, and whoever broke that rule at the counter heard about it for the rest of the trip. Your father, or whoever was sitting in that seat in your family, had an order that never changed. Coffee, black. Maybe a slice of pie if the day had gone well. The kids pressed their faces close enough to the glass case to leave a little fog on it, working through an actual strategy for the 28 flavors. Start near vanilla and work your way out toward the strange ones, or go straight for the strangest flavor first and dare anyone to judge you for it. A waitress in that same turquoise uniform, a stiff white apron tied in a bow you could tell had been practiced, would lean down and ask the only question that mattered. "What'll it be, hun?" And here's where the small things come rushing back. The ones nobody thinks to mention until they're standing right in front of you again. The metal scoop, scraping the inside of the tub, then clinking once against the rim of the dish. Cornbread, served warm in its own little dish, whether you'd ordered it or not. Frankfurts, never hot dogs, always Frankfurts, split and grilled in butter until the edges went dark. Sherbet, orange as the roof itself, served in a metal dish that frosted up cold on the outside within about a minute. A placemat with a map of the United States printed on it, just for the kids, so somebody at the table could work out exactly how far from home you'd actually driven. None of it was extraordinary. All of it was unforgettable. There was a kind of order to the whole operation that you only noticed if you worked there, or if your mother did, or your older sister during the summer she turned 16. Every uniform had to be wrinkle-free. No nail polish unless it was clear. The apron's bow had to be tied just so, with the knot looped under and hidden. A tiny, useless piece of perfection that somebody, somewhere, had decided mattered. And maybe it did. Every family had its own unwritten rule about where you stopped, too. Some pulled off at every single orange roof they passed, treating the whole drive as one long excuse for ice cream, while others held out, made the rule that you only stopped once, and made that one stop count for everything. There was a contest, if you want to call it that. A little card you kept, checking off flavors one by one, working toward the day you could prove, to a waitress, to your own family, to nobody in particular, that you had eaten your way through all 28. And on that day, the next cone was free. It felt, at 9 or 10 years old, like one of the great achievements available to a person. The Wednesday fish fry was its own separate event entirely. All you could eat for under $1, a cart wheeled table to table piled high with fried perch and French fries and a small mountain of coleslaw. Some families went every single week, like it was church. Other families only went once, on vacation, and somehow that made it bigger. A once-a-year event, circled on a calendar nobody actually owned a calendar with circles on it for. And then there's the roof itself. Not just orange, but a very specific orange, picked because it had to be visible in broad daylight and lit up by floodlights after dark. So the building didn't need a billboard. It was its own billboard. The founder's own car carried a license plate with the number 28 stamped right on it, as if the number itself had become a kind of personal signature. The weather vane man had a name, if you ever bothered to ask. Simple Simon, chasing his pieman forever, frozen mid-chase on top of every single roof in the country, never catching him, never giving up either. Here's the part that's hard to say without your voice doing something strange in the middle of it. Almost all of those roofs are gone now. Not changed, gone. Torn down, paved over, replaced by something with a drive-through window and a logo nobody's grandfather would recognize. For a long while, there was exactly one of them left standing with the orange roof intact, with the turquoise spire and the Simple Simon weather vane still spinning in the wind, same as it always had. And then, eventually, even that one closed its doors. There's no getting that highway back. The version of America where a building's roof color told you, from a mile away, exactly what kind of welcome was waiting inside. That's not coming back, no matter how much any of us might want to climb back into that car and make the drive one more time. And that's all right. It's allowed to simply be gone, the way a particular summer is gone, the way a particular version of your own family, younger, all still in that car together, is gone. You're not supposed to fix that. You're not supposed to rebuild it in some shopping plaza and pretend it counts. The ache itself, that quiet, specific longing for a roof you haven't seen in 40 years, that's not a problem to solve. It's just the proof that it mattered, once, enormously, to a kid who didn't know yet how rare that kind of certainty would turn out to be. But here's the thing nobody tells you about a memory like that one. It can't be repossessed. Nobody can tear down the version of it that lives in you. The smell of fry oil and coffee, the cool stick of that turquoise vinyl against the backs of your legs in July, the particular sound of a metal scoop against a metal tub. The building is gone, the roof is gone, but that specific orange, the one that doesn't match anything else in the world, you still know it the instant you see it. That's not nothing. That's a gift the rest of your life can't take back from you, no matter what gets built on that lot now. So maybe the doors are locked for good, and maybe that highway off-ramp leads somewhere else entirely these days. But every single one of us who ever stood at that case, trying to choose between burgundy cherry and frozen pudding while somebody waited patiently behind us, we still have the whole 28. every flavor of it. And if you'd like, we can keep standing at that counter together, right here, one Friday at a time.